After watching this video, I'm sure most of you guys will start making your own spices. I'll show you how easy it is and why you should be making your own. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome to Nature to Tea, or welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you ways you can easily make your own spices. And in this video, I'm making 3 different spices. Actually, one is shiitake mushroom, and then the other 2 will be making garlic powder as well as turmeric powder, which both I frequently use. Now, a few years ago, the Consumer Report had a test of about 120 something spices from different spice brands from different stores, and they have found that a lot of those spices, including organic ones, contain high levels of toxins, including arsenic, cadmium, and lead. Now, through my research, I found that one of the better brands is Simply Organic. So I try to stick with those. However, I like to make things my own way just so that I know exactly what's in them. And besides, a lot of these spices, even if they don't contain all these toxic chemicals, they do have fillers just because that's just the nature of how business works in America. Profit needs to be made, so they quantify a lot of these spices by adding in fillers and unnecessary things just to increase the volume and make more money. So I've been making my own spices for the most part. However, it's always using something that is not as fresh because I usually buy dried fruits or herbs or spices. Like I'll buy my peppercorn and make my own black pepper, or buy my whole dry lemons and then make my dry lemon powder. But I've been recently starting to dehydrate my own vegetables and spices and making my own because I finally invested in a dehydrator, which is one of the best investments I've ever made. Not to mention the fact that I stopped wasting food because dehydrating is basically preserving your food. And when you dehydrate your food, it can last up to 2 years longer than it would if they were to be fresh. So what I do is I've been starting to dehydrate my fruits, vegetables, herbs, and spices. So today I am making 3 different seasonings or spices, whichever you want to call them. I'm going to begin with the shiitake mushrooms. For the mushrooms, make sure you thoroughly wash them and dry them individually and air dry it before you start cutting them. Now, shiitake mushrooms are so amazing for antioxidant benefits, calcium, vitamin D, immune support, boosting energy levels, and cognitive functioning. I'm sure you guys have seen the mushroom coffees, the mushroom tea, because certain mushrooms, including shiitake mushrooms, are amazing when it comes to your overall health. I'm just gonna show you guys how I prepare my the spices that I'm gonna make today. So we'll go over the dehydration process and the rest of it in a little bit. So now that I'm done with my mushrooms, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare my garlic. And I've already peeled these garlic cloves, and I'm just cutting them into small pieces. And I like to cut them into small pieces just to kind of speed up the dehydration process. I haven't really found the perfect way, I guess, of dehydrating this just because most dehydrators, including the one I bought, have holes. Since I cut or grated my herbs or spices into small pieces, I have to use parchment paper. If not, it's gonna fall right through. So you have to use different parchment paper to separate the spices so that there's still enough airflow through the vents to dehydrate the spices. When I do dehydrate bigger fruits and vegetables like mangoes and plantains, I can cut them to slices where I can just lay them on the dehydrator. But since these are cut into small pieces, I have to section them off on parchment paper. That way the air can still flow in and dehydrate them. And I'll show you in a little bit what that looks like. Okay, back to talking about garlic. Now, garlic have been used for centuries for medicinal reasons as well as, of course, cooking. But they're known for being anti-inflammatory, also a great immune booster. It has great antibiotic benefits, antibacterial, and has antioxidant benefits. I usually see people slice or cut their garlic before they dehydrate it, but maybe next time I'll try dehydrating the whole garlic. I'm not sure how well that's gonna work, but I'm just learning how to dehydrate. This is my first time buying a dehydrator, but I believe it is best to cut whatever you're trying to dehydrate into, small enough pieces or slices. That way you can dehydrate better. So if you guys know more about dehydrating food, please let me know in the comments below. The next spice powder that I'm gonna make is turmeric powder. Now, when it comes to turmeric powder, you have to be very careful because some of them have fillers to help them get that bright orange. And those fillers are not the best, and some of them are toxic to the body, especially if you use them over a long period of time. So if you're gonna buy some, make sure you buy it from a trusted brand. But turmeric has amazing anti-inflammatory and antioxidant benefits, especially when it comes to joint pain and just inflammation in general. Turmeric also helps detoxify the body and support cognitive health. In order for the body to be able to absorb the turmeric, it needs a little assistance from black pepper. So make sure you add a little bit of black pepper to your turmeric. I wasn't sure if I wanted to cut this turmeric into small pieces or just grate it, but I decided to grate it just because I was trying to get it as thinly as possible. This is my first time dehydrating it. So first I wash, of course, the turmeric, and I do like to use baking soda with vinegar and dilute it in water to wash my um, turmeric, as well as when I do my ginger too. I do the same thing, and it just helps get rid of all the impurities. And also, even if they are organic, like in this case I'm using organic turmeric, depending on where they were grown, there's still chances of like pesticides, lead, and other toxins through the water system, and affect even the organic roots like the turmeric. So I like to take extra steps to make sure that I wash away all the impurities, or as much as possible. So this is how I ended up laying the spices in the dehydrator. So I placed them on parchment paper. As you can see, you can't just lay things that are cut in small pieces in the dehydrators because of the spaces that the air blows in from. However, I was able to lay the mushrooms straight on the dehydrator. However, I had to use parchment paper for the turmeric as well as the garlic, just because the pieces were too small, especially the grated turmeric. But next time I'm thinking I'm probably gonna cut the turmeric maybe into long pieces. But the thinner they are, the easier it can dehydrate. So I dehydrated this for about 8 hours, and you can tell that they're ready by the crunchiness of the herbs or vegetables. Now it is time to grind them in a grinder, and just get a good grinder. I believe I got this from Amazon, and you can make it finely ground or coarse or in between, so whichever works for you. When you buy things in bulk, when they go on sale, you can always preserve them this way or by freezing them, or the means of fermenting and so forth. But I decided to put these in a glass jar and label them, even though I didn't make that much. Most likely I'll use them all within a month or less. But if you're gonna make a lot, make sure you label them correctly so that you know when it expires. Most people don't make more than what they need within a year anyway. For me, I just make enough to last me for a few months. When things are on sale, I like to buy them in bulk. That way I can dehydrate them like I did in this video with these herbs and mushrooms. and sometimes I do freeze some of the vegetables, herbs, and overall food that I buy. But this is absolutely a great way not only to enjoy your spices, but also help yourself save money by not throwing away things. So if you buy things and know that you don't have time to cook it, you can always throw them in the dehydrator between 6 to 10 hours, depending on what they are, and just have them way longer than you would if they were to stay fresh. This wraps it up for this video. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you start making your own spices because it is worth your time, your money, and health. If you learned anything from this video, don't forget to give it a like. If you are leveling up and becoming a healthier version of yourself, please subscribe to my channel. I hope you have an amazing day, evening, night, wherever you are, and I hope to catch you on my next video.